Hey, what's happening? How you doing today? Welcome back to Logical Republican. Thank you again for stopping in. Greatly appreciate it. Hit the like button if you like what you see, like what you hear. Hit the share button if you want to share this with a like-minded person. And of course, the subscription button if you'd like to get this on a regular basis. Let's dive right into it. Joe Biden, he can't quit now. Can't do it. The outgoing calls for stumbling Joe to bow out of the presidential election this year have been loud. They've been overwhelming. They've been coming from all angles. George Clooney, for goodness sakes, called him out. The media, the public, and of course, yes, Hollywood. George Clooney, didn't he graduate from Harvard Law with a degree in economics and then go to Columbia Law? Didn't he? Wait, hold on. Fact check. Never mind. George Clooney attended that near Ivy League school that you may have heard of, and maybe you were even denied entry to. It's called Northern Kentucky University. Northern Kentucky University. The school has reportedly turned down like 17 future Rhodes Scholars and has amazingly high standard of entry. So if one of your kids maybe wants to go to Western Kentucky University, just remember they need a 2.0 unweighted GPA and no SAT needed to get in. Their famous list of graduates. It's a work in progress. They have none. None to date. Zero. No famous graduates. Oh, George Clooney. Anyways, let's be brutally honest here. Joe Biden was a national embarrassment in the debate a while back. Okay, the one with President Trump that Donald Trump just sat there and said, I've got no idea what he just said, and I don't think he did either. He had a lot of senior moments. He had to be helped off stage. He kind of shuffles around now. He had multiple other incidents in recent months that he stumbled his way through, and he's basically stumbled and fumbled his way through 4 years of office. But if he quits the race now and hands the keys over to Kamala Harris, it will validate everyone who has questioned his mental faculties over the last 4 years and show just how much the mainstream press is in power and that the Democratic Party and the press has covered up all of his fumblings and his steep decline. So he can't quit. But that's not really why Joe can't quit, right? I mean, that's a big reason, right? He's senile, he's incompetent. But that's not the real reason. It's really because of the assassination attempt on Donald Trump this past weekend in Pennsylvania. Biden did a quick national address that evening that looked unscripted. Okay, it was rehearsed, yes, I'm sure it was. But scripted, no, I don't think so. He got through it fairly well, better than I or most people expected. Then he shuffled off stage after taking a single question. Then he did another address, which was very scripted. And then he had an interview with Lester Holt on NBC News yesterday, and actually snapped back at Lester Holt when he started to push a little bit, which is really surprising. But that also shows that the initiative to remove Biden from office is coming from the mainstream press. So what normally would have been a softball question or a softball interview like the one from George Stephanopoulos last week is getting a little bit tougher. And Joe snapped back at Lester Holt. Why are you doing this to me? Leave me alone. Stop it. Stop it, will ya? I'm not Donald Trump. You don't need to be mean to me. I'm on your side. You're a Democrat too. I know it. Oh my God. Anyways, he needs to stay in the race and fight. He has to fight, right? He can't use slanderous terms anymore. He can't call Trump Hitler or a threat to democracy or any of these other things that might incite things to happen, right? You don't want to flame the fire. Why do you think all of this happened in the first place, right? It's because of the inflammatory, lighter fluid, gaslighting press comments for the last 8 years about Trump being Hitler and he being a threat to democracy and all of these other things. But he has to stay in the race and fight. Otherwise, the Democrats will look weak. And not only to the American public, but to the world stage. How is this going to look if Donald Trump, who's 78 years old, gets shot, gets backup, a couple days later shows up at the national convention, picks his VP, and then all of a sudden, stumbling Joe just kind of bows out and hands the keys to Kamala Harris. I don't think that would work too well. If Kamala Harris is leading the ticket in November, the Democrats are now in even bigger trouble than they were last week, before the shooting, okay? When the idea started floating around the DNC headquarters, Joe knew what was going on. He's not dumb. Jill knows this. George Clooney probably knows this as well. Bob Costas, the other Democrat talking head, who is very public about being a Democrat, he asked Joe Biden to step down. All of these people have to take a step back and realize that if they do get their wish, that this is going to be in disarray. Is Kamala Harris going to be the president? And then is she going to be the person on the ticket? Okay, Joe can step aside. She can become president for a week, a month, whatever. But the convention is going to determine who is actually on the ticket, and they may not pick her. So there is no absolute guarantee of what's going on here. But the thing is, one of the reasons why Joe can't back down now is the soon-to-be or now iconic photo of a bloody Donald Trump with his ear nearly shot off, pumping his fist, shouting, "Fight, fight, fight," while not wearing his shoes. That's going to be a rallying point that Kamala Harris cannot compete with. The Democrats need Joe to step up for a few months, be as strong as he can, be as tough as an 81-year-old can be. Now think about this for a second. We look at Joe as an old man stumbling, a guy who should probably be, in a care facility. But then you look at guys like Mick Jagger and Paul McCartney, both 81 years old, and they can still do it. Joe needs to find his inner Mick Jagger and perform here for the next few months. So things have changed for, the Democrats and hopefully the mainstream liberal press as well, that they just can't go on doing this, right? They have to lighten the lighter fluid on the charcoal a little bit, because all the flame fanning may have caused this incident to happen in the first place, like I mentioned yesterday. You can only call someone names for so long before someone reacts. I mean, anybody watching this or listening to this knows, right? If somebody is in your face and they're constantly calling you names, constantly doing this, there's only so much you can let slide off your shoulder. Eventually, you're going to react. Oh, he's a racist. He's a fascist. He wants to end democracy. He wants to become a dictator. He wants to strip voting rights. He's likely the reason the Pacific Ocean is polluted and there is poverty in Turkmenistan. Come on, it's all his fault. Believe it, the Democrats said it and it's on the internet, so it must be true. Oh, give me a frickin' break. But a single deranged 20-year-old with Jeffrey Dahmer glasses and bad aim has changed the complexion of the entire election season. The press can call Trump names and make stuff up for fear of causing another copycat shooter, but they won't do it. They can't get blamed for something that really is guilt by association, but they don't want to be blamed for something happening to a presidential candidate. And the Biden campaign cannot continue stating that Trump is a danger to democracy, as they've been pumping into the veins of Democratic voters like the herd of sheep they are. I mean, go to the Joe Biden website. I think they probably pulled it down. But one of the main talking points on the Joe Biden election website asking you to donate money is that Donald Trump is a threat to democracy. They don't explain how he's a threat to democracy. They just kind of throw it out there. It gets regurgitated, reposted, turned into memes. And the idiots sit there and go, yeah, he's a threat to democracy, all right. Sure is. But the mudslinging will have to be toned down for the most part until somebody sees the polling numbers growing too far into Trump's favor. And then they're going to have to throw a Hail Mary and then all bets are off. The name-calling and outright fabrications of the truth have come back to bite the liberals, the press, the Biden administration, all in the ass, and probably moved many of the on-the-fence voters into the Trump arena. I mean, think about it. You're on the fence. I don't know which way to go. I'm an issue voter. You're one of maybe the 10% in the entire country that doesn't drink Kool-Aid for one side or the other, right? 90%, 95% of Republicans will vote for a Republican. 95% of Democrats will vote for a Democrat. It doesn't matter on either side if it's a frickin' French poodle. They will vote for it. There are the issue voters, the people that are in the middle, the ones that are on the fence, the ones that decide tight elections. They don't know which way to go. Do they vote for the guy shuffling across the stage, or do they vote for the guy who got shot and is back up and at the Republican convention 2 days later announcing his VP pick? I don't know about that. Anyways, back to it. All of the Bill Mahers of the world will still vote for Joe Biden, even if his head is preserved hermetically in a jar of blue fluid. And that's kind of sad. But anyways, Joe's got to stay in this. He's got to keep fighting. And I will hopefully see you tomorrow. If you like what you see, like what you hear, please hit the like button, subscribe, share, and we will see you tomorrow. See ya.